Hello and welcome to a friendly chat. Today we're talking comics, and specifically we're going to talk about the Marvel Anthology series from 1988, Marvel Comics Presents. So, join me, will you?
And now the news. Don't touch that dial.
So Marvel Comics Presents was a 175 issue run, which was bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks you get a new issue, and the format, I believe, smashed it out of the park. And this is, of course, my opinion, but I love anthologies. I grew up reading 2000 AD, and anytime that they bring out an anthology series, I'd definitely be interested in it because I used to think you get more bang for your buck because you get a bunch of, a bit of everything. So Marvel Comics Presents, as I said, started in 1988. Started with this issue, which now straight away I'm like, oh, it's Wolverine, must have. So great marketing campaign. Started off with 4 stories, no ads at all. It's a wrap cover. It has like even the internal covers don't have ads. It's got information on who wrote, artists, inkers, all that stuff is on the inside. And on the back cover has basically an ad for has a house ad for the next issue. Like, this is the next issue, and you go, cool. So yeah, as I said, sort of I thought it was a cheap way of doing it with Wolverine, but yeah, you had a 10-part Wolverine story, a 12-part Man-Thing story, I think an 8-part story with Shang-Chi, and just a one-off story at the end, which had Silver Surfer in it. And as I said, no ads. It was just 32 issues of nothing but comic, and it was fantastic. 8-page stories, 4 8-page stories. Now, as I said, it was like, the first 10 issues is Wolverine. This series is actually kind of important because that Wolverine story kicks off him creating the Patch persona and moving to Madripoor and doing all his adventures in his solo book. So it is important. It is Claremont writing it, and I do believe it was Buscema doing the art. I'll verify that. Yep, John Buscema was doing the art. And yeah, it was just a really neat concept. And as I said, every 2 weeks you get a new issue. And what was really, really fascinating about it was the backup story was kind of interesting because you had this character called the Fear Eater, which was this little alien that would come along. It'd find a hero, it'd go into the hero, and the hero would suddenly become really scared and have to overcome its own fear to expel the creature. And they did it for a few issues until they went, yeah, this is getting boring. And then the last part of, I think, the 4th issue, it goes into a character and it goes, oh, this is why does this character have no fear? I'm cold, and it went into Daredevil, the man without fear. So yeah, it was kind of neat. But the backup story, the last, they'd always have like one in sort of issue where it was a good way just to have a character that hadn't been in like books for a while, and given an art team a go. Just go, here, you got 8 pages, do something with this character. And it was really cool because it used to basically expand your knowledge of characters, and yeah, it was just good fun. The Man-Thing story is fantastic. I was never a huge Man-Thing fan, but that story was really good. The Shang-Chi story is brilliant. It's you got Doug Munch was doing the writing. Steve Gerber wrote the Man-Thing story, so that's and Tom Sutton was doing the art. So we're not talking about low-level art and writers. It's like we got big guns. So yeah, and what was cool about it, like once they finished the primary story, they actually changed the focal point of the book with the title. So it's still Marvel Comics Presents, but once Wolverine finished, Colossus took over, and so Colossus had like a short story arc, and once again, you had This is really good. I found actually a wiki page which actually breaks down every issue of who was in what. So yeah, it'd have, this great Colossus story. You'd have there was a really awesome Black Panther story by Gene Colan and Del McGregor, and it went from about 30 something issues, I think. It was big. Um, but yeah, whenever there was a story had finished, they'd always have like a bit of a gap. So they'd always have, as I said, they'd have that single 8-page story. Sometimes they'd have a couple of them. After Colossus, we get Cyclops, which was a really cool story where he's fighting the Master Mold. They ran through the X-Men quite a bit, into Havoc, which was kind of neat. Nth Man is in there if anyone ever remembers Nth Man. Maybe I'm the only one who remembers Nth Man, but Larry Hama wrote it. Went to Excalibur. And then after Excalibur, it went back to Wolverine again, and it went back to Wolverine for a while. And the thing is, it just kept, they just kept doing a Wolverine story. They did a 3-parter, and then like an 8-parter, and then a 10-parter, and it was really, really fun stuff. But what was really interesting about it is, like you just think, oh, they're just using this as a way to test new writers, test new artists, test teams, whether they work well together, and it probably was. But occasionally something they'd use it as a launching point. So during the Cyclops run, they did a She-Hulk story, which actually launched into the John Byrne She-Hulk series. They did, and they did that quite a bit. Like, as I said, Nth Man, which I was having a laugh at. Nth Man spun off into like a 16-issue run of the Ultimate Ninja. So they did use it as a launching point for new series, which was kind of cool. But then occasionally, and very occasionally, like you'd get something big. And like of the 175 issues, if you ask anyone who ever read them or knows much about them, they'll just pick one story. And as important as Wolverine's initial 10-issue run, the Save the Tiger story, which launched the Wolverine ongoing series, Weapon X was the big one. And this was absolutely fantastic. It's the one sort of story like if you ever looking up back issues, it's the one that sort of kept its value. Other ones will fluctuate, but the Weapon X ones generally keep their value. And it's kind of, from a collecting standpoint, it's kind of annoying if you didn't want a Weapon X because you've got 8 pages of Weapon X in this. It's almost like going back to Amazing Fantasy 15 and getting 8 pages of Spider-Man and a whole bunch of other stuff. But yes, it went from issue 72 to 84. I remember those issues because I was buying them at the time. 84 was the one time that I can think of out of this entire run where they just went, this entire issue is Weapon X. So that the last part is all 32 pages, the final story part of Weapon X. Absolutely fantastic. Barry Windsor-Smith wrote it. Barry Windsor-Smith did the art. I'm a massive BWS fan. So Barry Windsor-Smith, or if you're in Australia, that's Beer, Wines and Spirits, which is a bottle ope. But yeah, which is what I normally call Beer, Wines and Spirits. I call it Barry Windsor-Smith. Going down to Barry Windsor-Smith. But on the bright side, though, just not a heck of a lot of the stuff has been collected. Like they did collect the Wolverine stuff. It's currently in the Madripoor Knights Epic Collection. You can get it that way. I think the Gerber Man-Thing was collected in like one of the Gerber Man-Thing collections. But fortunately, Weapon X was collected in trade paperback. This is like the first trade paperback version from like I think I was in high school when this came out, or maybe just after high school. But absolutely fantastic stuff. As I said, I'm a massive Barry Windsor-Smith fan. His level of detail is phenomenal. Let's see if I can find some. So, you got stuff like this, where the Wolverine's popping his claws and going completely bug nuts. The small scene in X-Men Apocalypse with Wolverine's appearance, where he's Weapon X, was really nicely done. It was very reminiscent of this, because this is absolutely just full on action and violence. So I can't unfortunately open it much further than that, so I don't want to bust the spine. But yes, Weapon X is the one. Wolverine in the Snow. Big thing from that series, and that's the thing that what I love about this series is the fact that there was lots and lots of stuff that kept you interested, like lots of characters, lots of new art teams that I hadn't thought of before. Going, wow, this is great. Let's see if I can find some other really good examples. So yeah, Bob Layton did a really cool Hercules story. There's a neat Wonder Man story. Once again, there's lots of Wolverine. Lots of just one-shot stuff. Like there was a cool Mr. Fix-It bit. There's as I said, they gave a lot of characters just a lot of interesting stuff. Oh, there's an Arabian Nights story with Scott Lobdell. Look at Scott Lobdell. He was great. But yeah, lots and lots of cool stuff. And as I said, 175 issues of four-part story, or 174 issues of four-part stories, and then one of just Weapon X. There's lots of stuff to go on with. Eventually, they sort of dropped Wolverine as the core thing. They had Ghost Rider for a while, and then they went back again to Wolverine. So, yeah, it is one of those really interesting things. Also, they did test the waters for crossovers. So there was a massive Midnight Suns crossover, and it crossed into several issues of Marvel Comics Presents. So if you were a collector of Ghost Rider books and you never got this book, it was kind of annoying that you had to buy a comic for 8 pages. So I don't think that was a great idea, but I mean, I'm not part of Marvel's marketing, so what do I know? But yeah, Marvel Comics Presents really great stuff. Lots of, as I said, bang for your buck, because 32 pages, no ads, all comic. And I think it was the perfect format. And yeah, and the best thing is too with these things, it's like if you're like, this story isn't really doing it for me, well, you just wait a little bit and it's gone, and then there's something completely new there, and maybe that does work for you. They introduced some really interesting characters that they sort of came back. There was a cyborg called Cold Blood, which I really dug. I thought it was a good series. Art by Galassi. Just Galassi's art's beautiful. And his character was actually poorly done in the MCU. He was the character that he was one of the bad guys in Iron Man 3. The guy that blows up Air Force One and gets unibeam through the chest. I can't remember. Is it Slevin was the character's name? I can't remember the actor who played him. But really just, I'm like, that's Cold Blood. You're just using it because it's a name from Marvel. Yeah. So I wasn't a big fan of that. But yeah, there's some. But yeah, he showed up in I think Deathlock story arc, which was kind of cool. But yeah, they sort of flexed their muscles and did some interesting stuff. I really recommend it if you do remember this. This is a short video by comparison to what I normally do. I'm trying to pare stuff down and get a little bit little bites rather than long stuff. So I'll try to do this more often. But yes, Marvel Comics Presents. I really recommend it if you haven't read it. I don't know how. It shouldn't be too hard to track down most of them. The last few were short print runs, so the last sort of 10 or so might be a bit more difficult to track down in the back issue market. I'm not too sure how what they did for the for their comic streaming service, for lack of a better term. I don't know what you call it. But Marvel have like one of those things where you can subscribe and read digital versions. I'm not too sure if they ever did all of this in digital, but if they did, it's a good way to do it. But yes, Marvel Comics Presents origins of some really cool series, some really cool characters, and Weapon X by Barrow Smith. Have you read any of this stuff, or is Weapon X the only thing you know from it? Please, in the comments below, let me know if it's a series that you dug, or whether you just thought, it's a bit too much for me. But I don't mind. I really would like to know. But yes, Marvel Comics Presents. So yes, if you like this sort of content, if you'd prefer me to do some shorter stuff rather than me rambling on and on and on and on and on about stuff, I will take that into account and I'll try to do some more of this. And yes, and if you enjoyed this sort of content, please consider liking and subscribing and all that fun stuff. It definitely helps. And it helps, it not just helps the channel, but it helps me know what people prefer. And then if I go, okay, more people like that, I'll do more of that rather than, it's not everyone feels comfortable going, I really, really wish you do shorter stuff. And I go, okay, I'll do that. So yes, but consider all that stuff and remember, keep on reading, keep on watching, keep on listening, keep on gaming and playing, and keep yourselves entertained because there's lots and lots of great stuff out there. So until next time, bye-bye.
More updates. Damn the man! Save the Empire!